Hello, and welcome to something just a little bit different. This is just a little bonus episode I wanted to do, where I'm just gonna take a look at all the focuses we haven't seen, and I'm gonna read them. The jungles of southeastern Equestria have been all but impassable for a long time. Most of the development has been focused on coastal cities, due to the fear of native pony tribes in the jungles. In order to exploit the vast potential and resources the jungles hold, we shall invest in building new roads and railways through the jungle, while respecting the known inhabitants of hostile tribals. Portland Seaweed Farms. If we support the coastal farms in Portland, they can supply the entire region with nutritious seaweed. With the influx of food, prices will fall and allow for local towns to grow at a steady pace, which will attract the industrial concerns to set up a local business. Hopefully, this will solve the issue of unequal regional wealth. Support harmony. We cannot emphasize our support of friendship and harmony enough. We will forever be the beacon of harmony to not just our neighbors, but to the entire world. This will ensure peace, prosperity, and equality for every creature. And that auto-skips these two because they don't exist at this point. The corruption and brutality of the Hellenian government is or actually because they're already democracy at this point, is actually the reason this reality is a poorly kept secret. If we wish to put a stop to its actions, we must save Queen Velvet from the fangs of her own government before it is too late. From there we can plan our next steps to deal with the Hellenian problem together. Queen Velvet, now under our protection, is already plotting the return of her people. As a freedom-loving nation, we must support our claim on the Hellenian throne if we wish to bring harmony to our people. And then, well, you can stage a coup, though they're already in charge in my reality. We must lend Velvet our full support if we wish to see an end to Hellenian's tyranny and corruption. We must do whatever it takes. Agitators and partisans have been sent to infiltrate major Hellenian cities, and Velvet is preparing to return home. Though if you don't do that, okay, focus dot no checks as well. Focus dot no check. Focus dot no checks. There we go. Okay, whatever. But we also aren't. Although we stand against corruption and support Velvet's claim on the throne, we cannot simply force our ways upon the Hellenian people. Instead, we can appeal to the good of the nature of the common Hellenian to win their support. That you can do, we cannot afford risking any of the ponies' lives in a foreign conflict. However, we shall continue to support Velvet with whatever we can send their way. And then you can do, the time has come to end the corrupt regime in Hellenia. We shall stand with Velvet during our time of need. Johan and his cronies have been oppressing the dear folk for long enough to victory. And that's, you can intervene in the Hellenian civil war that way. And then with Velvet on the Hellenian throne, Equestria has gained an important ally and friend. We must guarantee the safety and independence of our dear partners. And you just guarantee their independence. Pinky Envoy? For too long have we ignored the Yaks to our north. We'll send Pinkie Pie, the element of laughter, to finally establish formal relations with them. She's experienced with them from the past, and if things go sour, Prince Blueblood and Shining Arm will be ready to step in. We can support harmony in Yakistan. With closer and official ties to the Yaks, it is about time to support Prince Rutherford generously, ensure friendly relations are maintained between our nations. You can establish an embassy. Being on such good terms with the Yaks, we may now proceed to establish a permanent embassy in the Yak capital of Yakistan, further increasing mutual understanding and cooperation. Though normally they do have to be harmonic. Allows to call Yakistan to a defensive war. Guarantee independence. Ponies and Yaks stand united as friends. We shall protect them from all threats, come what may. Crystals will have a much harder time against a wall of stout Yak warriors guarding the mountain pass. And that just makes us guarantee them. We could do Spitfire research. Equestria is filled with flying ponies and even floating cities. It would be silly not to invest in strong, resilient airplanes to allow others to fly as well. And well-maintained air force can become crucial should a conflict arise as well. And then Timberwolf research. Not only is our best interest to provide strong armor to our ponies on the field, but tanks have proven to be decisively superior to regular infantry. Additional research is needed. Improved Manhattan rail line. Quick transportation between the capital and Manhattan, the biggest city of Equestria, is essential for use in emergency cases. Resources and troops will flow quickly to assist our plans. And in peacetime, it will allow for increased trade and easier transportation. Oh, Oh, wait, there is some more stuff here. I need to actually check it out. Night and day, wandering the ever-free forest, Celestia looked up at the night sky. What shall we do now, sister? Asked the former princess of the sun. I have wished to retire for some time, but I never expected the ponies of Equestria to demand I do so. I expected them to weep, to beg me not to go, and yet now they have thrown us out. What did we do wrong, Luna? Why have they come to hate us? Luna wrapped a wing around her sister. We have made many mistakes, Tia, but I have spoken to the new president. Many of the other Republican leaders, they do not hate us. It is merely that the modern ponies value liberty even more than they value the princesses. They wish to govern themselves. It must be strange to you. Everything about this new world is strange to me. This very war I just fought is strange to me. Liberty was never an element of harmony, and yet now they seem to act like it is the most important of all. But I suppose times change. Harmony changes, not even princesses can predict how. So what will you do, Lulu? The president has asked me to stay on as Marshal of Equestria, and I will oblige. My duties may no longer be royal, but they still my duties. And what of you, Tia? Celestia thought for a long moment. I suppose for the first time, I shall live for myself. Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna throw on these, just in case other events happen for those versions. It'll be very confusing. We'll have to figure out which one they are for if they do happen, but oh well. With our new industrial capacity and with conflict looming on the horizon, a new project to build a railway across all of Equestria would surely prove most beneficial to our cause. Princess Celestia has always spoken about connecting the entirety of Equestria by rail since its invention. While certainly not famed for military production, the city of Las Pegasus is very much an oasis for civilian industry. We should encourage further growth by investing in factories that already produce many consumer goods for the civilian populace. Magical crypto machines. Magic acts as effective multiplier to many different problems. A dozen earth ponies can raise a barn with no issues, but a skilled unicorn could achieve it all on their own, saving time and labor. This force should find plentiful use in the new, rapidly expanding technology. Cryptographical machines. A good cipher is always shifting and never clear. School for Gifted Unicorns. Celestia School for Gifted Unicorns, Equestria's premier education institution for magically gifted, has recently fallen on hard times. With some extra funding, we can renovate its facility and increase the quality of education young unicorns will receive. This will certainly help to improve the research capabilities of our nation. The expansion of the School for Gifted Unicorns. It tended to be in the past that only those who could pull favors and a lot of connections or were just plain lucky could attend the School for Gifted Unicorns, but no more is that the case. The cash injection that has been performed by the Crown, in quotation marks, has been immensely helpful in broadening the appeal and fields of the School for Gifted Unicorns, having moved most of the facilities from the older historical, if cramped, quarters in the core of Canterlot to a more modernized place in the outskirts of Canterlot. The new sprawling campus will be able to more adequately handle the many breakthroughs and inventions that are being pumped out of Equestria's scientific community. Many of the new students and facilities have been some of the Griffonia's brightest that have fled the political turmoil in Wingbardy and some parts of the Empire for more fertile lands. We have certainly found them here in Equestria. Spark of knowledge. Initial efforts have begun to increase the scientific base of Equestria. Let's see. Anything else that's new that I haven't read already? Doesn't look like it. Luna Nova's Academy. With more funding and subsidies, the Luna Nova Academy will be able to fund more bigger projects and contribute more to our national research development. Princess Luna will be undoubtedly happy to see more ponies attend her school. Luna Nova Academy. Today, what was a pipe dream in the minds of the researchers of Luna Nova Academy has been made a reality, made possible with the massive injection of funds from the Crown. The Luna Nova Academy has moved from its older campus to a newer, more modern, magical-powered campus. Housed in the old clock tower outside of Ponyville, the laborers and studies halls stretch deep underground, with several testing areas housed both above and below ground. With the new facility, several old inventions, which had been put in mothballs by lack of funds, facilities, or both, have been pulled out and began field testing. Depending on what is chosen at the highest level, may see full-scale deployment within the year. It is expected the institution's patron, HP Princess Luna, will make a visit to the place in the very near future. That actually lost its description because of that. Okay. Public schools. More funding for public schools means smarter, better education ponies. Ponies who surely contribute to research in one way or another. Public schools funding. Even with the strengthening of higher learning, we must all remember the ABCs and 1-2-3s come first. The overhaul of the public school system in Equestria has been long overdue, still teaching subjects and topics that have been mentioned as being outdated when Columbus made landfall in New Maryland. Hyperbole, to be sure, but a damning indictment of the state of education nonetheless before our reforms. The recent reforms package that we have just rolled out onto the school system has provided for a good and modern education for the fillies and colts of Equestria. When they go forth and receive new education, they will carry them with a new rolled in their hearts. Woo! Canterlot Center of Research. With a new educated society and youth, Canterlot shall become the very center of education, research, and innovation. Equestria's best and brightest will flock towards Canterlot, making cooperation much easier. For 1,000 years, the EEA has ensured that every pony in Equestria receives only the most high quality education. With this in mind, we should further strengthen their role and authority so that the education can blossom further, just as it did over these past 1,000 years. Or, for 1,000 years, the EEA has kept equestrian education in its cold grasp, with a tight, outdated, and restrictive rule set. Their authority over our institution has become a big problem. It's time to cut down on their rules and authority and allow our ponies to teach and research things more independently, their own way. Magical studies. Uniting the various branches of Equestrian Academy, we are improving our knowledge in magic and making breakthroughs in its related fields. There are no limits to what we can achieve with magic. All ponies magical training. To take another step towards harvesting the enormous power of magic, we shall make it mandatory for all unicorns in the armed forces who participate in magical training. Airfields of Southern Equestria. We ought to connect the regions of Equestria with air brigades. In case of war, we will have to protect our skies. Not to mention, it will allow increased coverage and tactical options for our planes. In order to better protect our heartland, we should construct additional airfields in the interior to allow more coverage from our planes. In times of war, they will ensure our skies are safe. Lessons from WMD programs have allowed us to merge the branches of magic and nuclear energy, forming a new terrifying source of power. Both the civilian and military uses of this development are evident and must be exploited. Air combat tactics. The airplane is a Griffin's invention, but its implementation has spread across the known world quicker than any pony could have imagined. Now when Equestria itself is threatened, we must divert some of our talented designers towards continuous improvements of combat planes, as it will decide the outcome of the war. Our bombers will make flights deep into the enemy territory, demolish their industrial heartland. They shall know our strength, but to achieve that, we must first improve our existing bomber models. Artillery is a desirable special some pony for every soldier on the battlefield. We need to focus our research on modernizing our support artillery. It is the key towards breaking enemy strongholds and morale. The invention of modernization of our tank models have brought us far, but we mustn't become complacent with the current designs. Further modernization and improvements are needed. Investing into the famous Macintosh factory will attract more engineers. That way our soldiers can be provided with new, better guns. It is simply the Army's largest need. We cannot let our ponies go without a decent weapon. True. We got the all ponies front. Against a vile, unreasonable aggressor, ponies must all stand together. It is what makes us strong. Petty politicking can be dealt with after our very way of life is safe and sound, once again. Stalingrad has never had a reason to hold any love for Equestria or the princesses, but they must see reason in the current situation. If Thorax and their monstrous army... the army is allowed to free reign over Equestria, they will quickly finish off Stalingrad as well. Every pony knows Stalingrad has been massing troops and material for a while. Their help could be a turning point in the conflict. Yeah. An appeal to Stalingrad. With the war becoming ever more costly by the day, we must appeal for help from outside Equestria and our nearest friends. With Queen Chrysalis on a hate-fueled crusade to dominate and carve up all of Equus, all pony kind is on the line. We must either hang together, or we will deservedly hang separately, even if it will cost us, and will pain us to do so. We must go to Stalingrad and ask them for help in the fight for life or death that we are embroiled in. However, there is a vocal wing in the War Council that advocates not selling out thousands of ponies to live on Stalingrad when it is very possible that we can defeat the changeling ourselves. The choice of action has thusly ultimately fallen to the crown. We can choose to ask knowing that there will be a price, or we can bet on being able to defeat the changelings by ourselves. We'll ask them their help just to see if an event comes back. While their social structure seems odd to the average pony, there's no doubt Stalingrad has been pushing new boundaries in the area of science ever since they've secured independence. Shouldn't be much of a problem to expand our military cooperation to include research as well. The insistence we've received thus far has been welcome, but Stalingradian commanders do not readily seek to cooperate with their equestrian counterparts. It would be logical to assume they fear some kind of foul play coming from their hooves. Thus, Applejack must secure a more closely working relationship with the General Secretary to ward off any such suspicions. And Stalingradian tank projects. Although we already have an extensive armor program ourselves, the Stalingradian military has come up with ingenious models themselves. They've been perfecting their tank doctrines, as well as which will undoubtedly prove crucial to counter the changeling panzers. Perhaps we could learn a thing or two from their designers. And yeah, they join our faction, but and they gain that territory, is what happens if you do that event. Which, you know, they are still in our faction. We are just our friends. But yeah, the fact that they're just calling this block one on up here, the northern block, is concerning. But whatever. I'm just here to look at events. The end of the Civil War. It is over. The forces of evil have been beaten back, and we are relative peace once again. Let's remember those who gave their lives in the struggle, and pray that such a horrible thing never happens to our nation again. United Equestria. The Civil War has devastating, and many of our provinces declared independence. We are all ponies with a common bond, and we should be united together, for only that way can we resist a foreign invasion. That adds nothing, because those ones don't get shown here. But I'll be back in just a bit. So, yeah, about all that. So I've been trying to get to spawn the event for just forcing it to happen, like I was suggested to do. That isn't actually possible with this run. And, yeah, it is not even possible to force it. It's really not. I know, amazing, right? But, yeah, it's not. Basically, if you're doing it as any other leader besides Celestia, it just crashes the game. I tried it with Applejack, I tried it with back when having Celestia and Luna, I tried it. But if I go over and make a new save and play as Equestria, and then do it with just Celestia, works fine. So, yeah, just crashes the game if you have anyone other than Celestia as your leader. So basically, if I want to do that idea, I'm going to need to do an entire new run. And I'm not doing that right after this one. So, yeah. Dot. But I guess that will be the end of this series then. I'll possibly come back for that at some point in the future. But if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.